example I can put before you. Suppose it is a hot day, temperature is quite high in the outside, and you are coming to your house. Whenever you are entering into your room, what will be your immediate reaction? You don't have a AC in your house, okay? You have a fan. Fan was rotating, you saw that yes, it is rotating. Then what you will do? Speed बढ़ा दो. You will tell like that, na? Increase the speed, right? You are not telling increase the speed of the fan to 1200 RPM. What are you telling? Increase the speed of the fan. So the other part understand your person and he increases. So that increase may be around 1300 RPM or maybe 1200. You are happy. And the system is also happy. The instructor who is doing the thing, he is also happy. Here you told the thing, he operated the thing, and the system is operating. So all the three are happy. But it is in a uncertain manner. It is not a certain thing. You have not spoken the certain word. You have spoken a linguistic word. Increase. I don't know what is the meaning of increase. Whether it is 1200 or 1300 or 1100, whatever it means. So it is in a range. Right? So our human brain always works in uncertainty. It never works in concreteness. You never utter the word, yes, it is the thing. Always you tell, हो सकता है. Right? In very few cases, unless otherwise it is exam or question or answer related thing, we generally do not speak about the optimal sense. We always tell in a vague sense. But whenever I am telling a vague word, the other counterpart who is also a human being, understand the thing. He is not rejecting my thing. So I am vague, he is vague, but the system is running. So this takes care of uncertainty in a large manner. If my input is uncertain, I don't know. Suppose I am taking a voltage sensor, I am sensing the voltage, I am getting 5 volt, but there is itself a problem in the sensor. So 220 should convert to 5, but 150 has been converted to 5. What I will think? Since I am getting 5 volt, the other part is 220. So I will do all my operations using 5 volt, which will correspond to actually 220. But there is an uncertainty in my data. So that cannot be taken in the normal scenario, which can be done in case of fuzzy systems. And another advantage of fuzzy systems is we can incorporate the decision making power of the human being. Right? As an example, I can tell you. Suppose I want to control the speed of this fan. One thumb rule is, if the speed is low, increase the voltage. This is the general thumb rule. Whatever you are doing, this fan regulator, same thing. But now I will tell, if the speed is or the error is higher, means positive, and error dot is also positive, then my control action should be more negative or positive. That depends. See, error. Generally, whenever you get a disturbance, it will oscillate and come back. Any physical system. Okay? Error will have overshoot, undershoot, and it will finally come back. Now here, error is positive, means it is going off. Dot is positive, means the tendency is again there to go up. It is positive, error is already positive, and it has again a tendency to go up. Under that circumstance, I should give a big job to the system. I need a large thrust on the system. Then only I can bring back it to the origin. However, when the error is positive, suppose let us assume under this scenario, error is positive but dot is negative. That means it has acquired a behavior where it is coming of its own, it is going down of its own. Under that condition, if you give same job, then it will create a undershoot. Just like suppose the pendulum is oscillating like this and it has now come down. Now at this time you give a jog, what will happen? It will go this way or not. So it will have large undershoot. So I should not give large amount of thrust when my error is going down. So this is the point where your expert decision will come in. I am taking two variables, error and rate of change of error, to decide something. Similarly, I can have n number of variables to decide about my behavior. Just like if A is this, B is this, C is this, then D is this. So like that I can formulate the expert rules. Okay. So fuzzy systems is nothing but representing it in a expert domain and creating a nonlinear relationship between input and output. It is nothing but that. It is a nonlinear relationship between input and output. Right? Now, somebody may ask you that why should we go for fuzzy systems? One is definitely your uncertainty. Another very important scenario is whenever you are selling something, now the world is purchaser and producer, seller and buyer. You are doing something, somebody else has to purchase it. He has to pay the money to you. Right? So whenever somebody else is purchasing it, under that condition, he will definitely ask all the tit and bit of that thing you are selling. Suppose you are selling a controller or any medical diagnostic system. He will definitely not believe if the result are coming for 1 and 2 cases true. You may show some results which is coming true, but he will not believe to that, because some of the other cases may be there where your system will give a wrong answer and there may not be cancer, but you will detect that it is cancer and he is gone. So definitely he will not accept the thing. However, if you go for a fuzzy system, since it is based on expert rules, you can always show that the other part. See, this is the rule I have taken, and if you want to change the rule, you tell me. If I am wrong anywhere in the rule, you indicate. Suppose if the body temperature is 104 degrees centigrade, the dehydration is there and this is there, then it is typhoid. Suppose this is a rule I am framing, and basing on this rule I have made a software. Now let the doctor tell me, no, this is not 104, it should be 103. Okay, I will change it. So like that, there can be a dialogue between the purchaser and seller, and expert system can be reformulated. But the important is the expert rules which you are writing. If from the beginning your expert rule is gone or wrong, then whatever fuzzy you do, it will not give you a fuzzy, but it will give you a hazy nature. Okay? Now, coming to the genetic algorithm or evolutionary computation. You all know that it is nothing but survival of the fittest. You must have been told about that. And based on the survival of the fittest, we do many jugglery of mathematics and try to get something. What is that something? Why do we go for genetical? Can anybody tell? You have already read genetic algorithm. Where and why? Where and why are obviously same thing. We should go for genetic algorithm.
So it depends on the
Problem.
probability.
Right? But
Other optimization.
in general, where should we go? See, I am having.
We are not having any closed form situations,
Formulation.
mathematical closed form situations we are not having.
See, as far as I understand, any system can be represented with some mathematics. You may not have been able to do that thing, but somebody else will be able to do it, or not. It is a mathematics, it has some differential equation. Any system you go, any time domain variation is there, it is because of some differential equation. X dot equal to Ax plus Bu. That will be valid for any system you go. If it is a dynamic system. If it is not a dynamic system, then some algebraic equations will be coming into picture. It will not be a differential equation. Some nonlinear algebraic equation will come. So those things can definitely be solved with the help of Newton-Raphson technique. You know, that is basic Taylor series expansion. df is equal to del f by del x into dx. That is your Taylor series, simple Taylor series expansion, and you formulate the Jacobian of the system and go for the minimization. But why should you go for GA? Or we should go for GA everywhere? Very important thing is there. You have not been told? Or you have forgotten? Hopefully you have forgotten. It is to find out the global optimized situation, either global maxima or global minima. This word you must tell. Anywhere it is asked that why you go for G. If you are not telling this word, you will not be considered or selected in the Viva. In regard to GA I am telling, not for others. Okay. It is to find out the globalized point, global maxima and minima. Right? Now you have already read GA, PSO. Today I will teach bacteria foraging. Then you will again read hybrid GA, then hybrid neural GA, hybrid fuzzy GA. So all these things are aiming at same point. Yes or no? For finding the global. So if my GA has already found the global one, why should I go for PSO? Why should I go for hybrid PSO? Why should I go for bacteria foraging? Yes or no? अरे भाई GA तो मुझे दे दिया है, हो गया, finish. So ये all these techniques which has come up, all these are bakbas, bekar. IEEE evolutionary computation, which is a separate IEEE section, should be closed down, because GA has already been invented. It may be from 10 years before. Yes or no? No, because I need papers, right? So it should be existing. IEEE evolutionary computation should be there. Otherwise, our teacher community will be in problem. Or what? Why should we go for all these one by one algorithms? More accuracy. Right. Yes, agreed to it. But I think you are not present during the before just discussion. Why should we go for GA compared to gradient? any system can be optimized with gradient or not? No. Why? You cannot find the analytical gradient, you mean?
Gradient is the limitation you may drop at some local minimum.
That's what we were discussing just before, where he was not there. So gradient will result to local minima, localized, local minima or maxima, whereas GA will not be tracked to local minima or maxima. Now if I am getting global point with GA, why should I go for PSO? Because GA has already given me global point. What? Random samples, okay. Some of the samples you are intentionally removing.
There is a problem of that the survival of the system means you have to tell some of the processes.
You have already given the answer, but you are unable to correlate. It is accuracy. But now you interpret in the terms of global point. For any problem, do you know the global minima? I will give you a problem. Suppose a steel mill is there and I want to optimize this production. Do you know what is the global point? It is 6,000 ton or 5,000 ton or 7,000 ton, I don't know. I am trying to get the best out of it. So, I am going one by one algorithm, whatever you are telling accuracy. So, in the first GA is giving me suppose 7,000. Then I am trying with PSO. Oh, it give me 7,800. So, it is a better system. Right? Then I am going for some other thing. So, do you mean that if a paper is proposing that PSO is better than GA, will it be the case for all things? Yes, it is problem specific. You must remember this. And there is a theorem, I don't remember exactly the paper, where he has proved that the global point which you are achieving from different algorithms will ultimately result to the same value. Same value means, suppose you take 300 problems with PSO, 300 with GA, 300 with some else. Finally, you will see that the net result is same for all the things. Means suppose for 300 problem, GA gives me the global one in 50 and 250 are not global. In the other case, PSO give me 50 and 250 are not global. So like that, everybody, all the algorithms will result to the same domain. However, we go for problem specific so that we can propose this algorithm for this type of application. We should not tell that PSO is better than G or bacteria foraging is better than PSO. We should tell or we can tell that this algorithm is somewhat better than the other one for particularly this problem. Right?
In GA, there is no problem of convergence. In PSO, there is no problem of convergence.
Convergence, there is no problem of convergence for what?
Suppose in GA, one problem we cannot get in. Again, you have to restart. Restart is possible in GA.
I am unable to follow you.
In GA, you have to again exclude restart.
Why? You start from the point, other point. See, there are many variations of GA.
In convergence is not possible. So again you have to exclude again.
No, you are meaning that you started the GA program from a random and you are going on and finally it is not converted.
Finally it is not converged.
How do you know that it has not converged? How do you know that it has not converged?
If you are not getting solution, again you have to.
It is not getting solution. Do you know the solution earlier? for the problem. If you know the solution, then why do you need any program?
That is the problem.
It is for verification of a paper or anything, that is okay. But whenever you are going a new design or new problem, you don't know its solution. Since you don't know the solution, you are using some algorithm for finding the solution. If you know the solution earlier, then it is a gone case. No algorithm is needed.
There may be certain limitations of GA also. That's what we are trying.
Verification of GA.
Limitations of GA.
Yes, lot of limitations are there. I can find out limitations of all the programs. I can find out for PSO, I can find out for bacteriophaging, I can find out for GA. Everything has limitations, everything has advantage.
Maybe one of them is that it may not be converging much,
Yes,
that much faster
that's
maybe
I'm
compared to the other
yes,
one.
that you are correct. That agree. But there are some other proposition also where they have improved the convergence in GA. Because GA is not the GA now at stands which you are reading. That binary GA which we generally teach, it has gone long way back. Okay, so that binary one is having problem provided it is a complex system. Again, when I am telling complex, which is complex and which is not complex? You don't know it right. Therefore, we generally assume whenever you are going for a new problem, we don't know the final solution and we try to improve the thing. Now you take a very new problem which has not been attempted by these algorithms at all, and it has been reported that I am getting this much value in some conventional algorithm. Now you use even the binary G, you will get a paper. Because nobody has explored that area till now, and you get some better result compared to the conventional. But this result may be trapped to a global, which you are telling that GA is convergence problem. Convergence problem means it is trapped to a local one. It has not reached to the global. But since we don't know the global one, we are happy with that. And many practical applications are there where we generally do not bother up to 4th decimal or 5th decimal point. Suppose you are doing some error minimization and somebody is reporting that I am getting an error of 10 to the power minus 5. I am reporting an error of 10 to the power minus 3. For industry it does not matter whether it is 10 to the power minus 5 or minus 3, both are same. 10 to the power minus 3 means 0.1% error and other is 0.001. Why do I need so much accurate one? Right. So, again there is a issue in this scenario. What is the optimal one? So, taking all these things, we have to decide about the algorithm when it comes to the actual application point.